Hello, and welcome to another title clear video. Today, I'll be tackling the Moon title challenge with an Imperialdramon team. Usually, I share a few other teams, but for the time being, I will only share this one team, plus two other variations that should be able to tackle this challenge. Playing with Imperialdramon is easy. Just pop their active skill and match one fire, water, wood, and heal combo to reach 10C. More effort will be needed to bypass combo absorption shields, overcome combo debuffs, or whenever there are multiple enemies or parts. But at the end of the day, playing with this leader is very straightforward. I wasn't lucky enough to roll Daisuke, who is usually the unit of choice to help deal with large hits. As replacement, I'll be using the Mina duo from Kaiju number 8. This unit also gives me a 3x HP boost on a similar enough cooldown. If you have Daisuke or want other teams, check the playlist in the description below. Missing out on Daisuke's recovery boost is not the end of the world, but will mean that I'll have to go out of my way to match a certain amount of heal combos, especially when dealing with the big hits in this dungeon. Though since the Mina duo also gives a 7x6 board in addition to the HP buff, the chances of having enough heals to fully recover my HP are relatively high. In addition, the Mina duo provides more pierce and damage absorption void uptime, so along with Miyako's active skill, I won't have to wait to counter those mechanics, and if everything goes right, I'll be able to clear the dungeon in as little as 35 turns. Though to achieve the 35 turn clear, I'll have to 2-hit KO 8 floor Sophie and 9 floor Luna. Sophie could invade on floor 7, but since I'll have Miyako's roulette during that floor, it'll be very easy to set up the 2-hit KO as I'll need to deal a mass attack with each of Imperialdramon's attributes. For one of those two attacks, I will need to match up with L to ensure that Christmas Hathor is able to triple cap. However, if Sophie invades on floor 8, I will not have access to Miyako's roulette. And if Imperialdramon's active skill does not give me at least 5 ores of each attribute, I will have to spend another turn here. Floor 9 will require me to set up a fire cascade match due to the way that recovering assist and attribute changing equips work. If I don't set up the cascade, while recovering assist, the Mina duo's second attribute will not deal damage unless I somehow match a dark combo, which is not at all possible with Imperialdramon's board. Thankfully, since I'll be using the Mina duo's for the expanding active skill, there's a very good chance that I will have enough fire orbs to set up the cascade and ensure the 2-hit KO. And if I happen to fail, then I'll just have to take an extra turn to kill Luna. As I mentioned, Miyako also brings more pierce and damage absorption void uptime. Plus her roulette will also give the team consistency when facing off multiple enemies and when dealing with parts. This unit also comes with a parts gravity, which will ensure that I can destroy the parts before killing the main body. If I fully triple cap and match mass attacks every turn, I can kill the boss and both of her parts in 7 turns. Hawever, since there will be some turns where I can't guarantee mass attacks, breaking the bulkiest part is not a guarantee without Miyako's parts gravity. Christmas Hathor is here for her cleric and looping shield active skill. Even with the 3x HP boost, the 3 big hits in the dungeon will require the additional damage reduction to survive. This Christmas unit is also a big help when it comes to recovering assist, since she can have up to 4 L awakenings, and the max amount of turns that assists are removed is 4, so matching a single wood or fire L will be just enough for this dungeon. Christmas Hathor's healing is really great and sorely needed, especially without Daisuke's recovery buff. In addition, this unit could actually deal damage if you give her the right equip. To guarantee that part drop, the team will need 5 Power Break Awakenings in total, since my leader's pre-transformation leader skill gives a slight boost to the base drop rate. The Imperialdramons already bring 3 Power Breaks to the table, so all I need to do is fit in at least 2 more via equips. I preferably want these Power Break equips on my Imperialdramons, as these awakenings will give a stat boost to this already bulky unit once I manage to break apart. And speaking of bulk, like always, it's very important to make sure that the team is able to meet certain HP thresholds. So while looking for equips for my units, I will prioritize those that also have team HP awakenings. Skill boost awakenings are also something to look out for, because if you can't transform right away, you won't be able to tank any hit. For the Imperialdramons next to Hathor, I especially want equips with 10C or 7C plus awakenings to counter her targeted attack debuff from her active skill. This debuff is pretty much neutralized by the Mina duo for most of the dungeon, but for the few turns when that's not the case, I want damage boosting equips so that my Imperialdramons are able to triple cap without issue. the Mina duo and Miyako also want damage boosting equips. Though since I want to activate the former's Resonance Super Awakening, I don't really have that many options. This team does not match Dark Orbs, so the equip on the duo should also change their sub-attribute to any of Imperialdramon's attributes. And out of those that also have a Levitate Awakening, these are the only two that can activate Resonance on the Mina duo. A 7C plus or 10C equip could also work if you plan to match a Fire Cross every turn. But since I want to be a little bit faster and lazier, a Levitate Awakening allows the duo to almost always triple cap without a cross match. Since Miyako already has a Levitate Awakening and doesn't have Resonance to worry about, I can basically put any 7C plus or 10C equip on her. I would also want Christmas Hathor to be able to deal damage, and to do so, it's very important to turn her into Machine type. That way, she will be able to be cap broken by Imperialdramon's active skill. In addition, a Levitate Awakening on her would be ideal so that her third attribute can deal a significant amount of damage. There aren't that many equip options out there that meet these conditions, so if you don't have any of them, you should probably give up on Hathor being able to deal a significant amount of damage and instead go for equips that will help the team in other ways. One issue with the team is that it only has 4 SBR Awakenings across the table. So to not get skill-bound, on floor 5, one of the equips will need to at least bring one more SBR Awakening. In this dungeon, there are various annoying tape and cloud attacks. Therefore, I also seek to counter these mechanics via equips. Some enemies will also blind orbs, though I think that these attacks in this dungeon are manageable. But if you're not a fan of them, you might also want to consider bringing an equip that is able to resist that mechanic. The team I'll be showcasing doesn't have a blind resist, but version 2 does. And here is the third version. I haven't tested either of these two teams, but on paper, they should work similarly to version 1. Do note that version 3 doesn't use the Mina duo's Resonance Awakening, so if you don't have any equips that enable that awakening, it's still possible to make a team where the duo can deal a significant amount of damage. That being said, the damage outputs for version 2 and 3 might still be a bit lower at times. And if you'll be using those two as inspiration, you might want to go out of your way to match special shapes to ensure that the Mina duo and Christmas Hathor are able to triple cap or get very close to. Alright, that does it for this video. Best of luck tackling the Moon Title Challenge. Thank you guys for watching, and a special thank you goes out to Aegis number 1, Braulio, Breastfeeding Obama, Dingo Dante, Eddie Ryan, and Wave for supporting the channel. I really appreciate it. I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.
ブラストレーザブラストレーザ怪獣は到達する。